what I thought we'd do today is just give you a quick update. I mentioned a while back when we were in the bio corridor that we're lifting plants to rehabilitate them. So I thought it would be quite interesting to take you through the nursery. Now, at the moment, we've got around about 4,000 plants already this summer that we're rehabilitating. By the end of the summer, my goal is 10,000. That means that as soon as we get the rain next winter, we can start planting back into the bio corridor into the degraded areas. Now, for us, it's obviously important because a lot of these plants you can't get commercially, so we can't buy them from normal nurseries. Secondly, the genetic material is correct. Remembering that a lot of the commercial plants these days are actually hybrids, and they're developed like that to make them more attractive to gardeners. But that hybridization is not always a good thing in the natural environment. So all our plants we know are good genetic material. They're from the local source, and very interestingly, of course, we're growing in them a soil that they're accustomed to. So we go out, we lift them in situ, pot them up, bring them in here and rehabilitate. So let's just take a walk through and I'll show you some of the things we're up to. Okay, along these beds here, I've got 3,000 various Renosterfeld species from Renosterbos, which is why it's called Renosterfeld, through to the smaller geraniums, the little reeds, all that sort of thing. Senecio. Now when we lift them, as I said earlier, we lift them with the natural soil, which means that very often you'll get 2 to 3 or 4 different species in the same pot. Now that means if the original target plant did die off, we'd have backups. Remembering as well that this soil is full of seed. Now that seed can wait under the surface of the soil for years until the right conditions are for it to develop. So using this sort of technique in degraded areas, you're introducing a new seed bed as well. As they're coming into summer, a lot of the plants are flowering, which means that the seed is being set here as well. That seed will fall into the pots and join that natural seed population, if you would call it, in the soil. We're actually quite excited about this because I was told that it's very difficult to do. It's not easy, make no mistake, but we're managing it. Ever since the lockdown in March opened up, we've been lifting plants out of those areas that will be flattened by development, bringing them here. But not only that, I'm also taking cuttings. We've got river willow here, we've got wild fig, and we've got Cape honeysuckle. That way, it's a lot quicker. You get a much more developed plant a lot quicker. So in 2 to 3 years' time, when they're at the right size, we'll be planting them out. Watsonias, of course, have just finished flowering. All of these have been saved from the compost heap, from the green waste area, as homeowners are thinning them out. So we pick them up and bring them up to rehabilitate them. Very exciting one, well, exciting for me, is of course the Chinchirinchi. Believe it or not, all of these are bulbs. So they don't look much at the moment because the plant has died down, the bulb is underground. The Chinchirinchis are just coming off flower now, and you'll see they're setting seed, which means I'll be able to harvest the seed and then go out and spread them across the entire estate, where I think they will do quite well. Locally, there's only 2 or 3 patches that I know of in this valley. So you could say to a great extent we're bringing them back. Over the back area, I've got some aquatic plants, and they are going to be planted around the wetlands in the bio corridor, and again bringing them back. So arum lilies, the Cnopopia, the wild garlic, that sort of thing. We also do, to a small extent, indigenous bedding plants. So I'm rooting out speckworm. Speckworm is, of course, one of the most amazing plants in South Africa. Not many people know much about it. Basically, it's got 6 times the protein content of lucerne. So traditionally, women that were breastfeeding would actually eat it, and that would increase their milk yield. But incredibly, it's been found that it sequesters 6 tons of atmospheric nitrogen per hectare per year, which means it ties up the nitrogen in the atmosphere that creates the greenhouse effect, and so promotes global climate change. Thank you for all the great comments we've had on the series, and if you liked it, give us a thumbs up. I'll be doing further updates as we go through the summer, the bee boxes and things like that, just so you can see the progression.